All right, happy start to 2021. Been a little month or two since I've done a video, so I think it was time for a catch up. I kind of want to talk a little bit today about something that I've been talking about with a lot of my clients, especially notable in the last couple of months. Unless you've been completely asleep, and that may be tempting. We'll talk about that more in a little bit. There's been a lot of turbulence in the world in general, especially here in the US and other places. You've got just growing fear relating to politics, the environment, weather, racism, inequity, COVID pandemic fears. It's not that fear is new, but there just seems to be a lot of it going on the last few months, last few years. And, when you have that much energy put toward fear in the general populace, the fear itself becomes almost like part of the air. So, for a lot of us, me included, you may find yourself wanting to sleep more, to retreat, to kind of, pull away in that sense back into subconscious, the unconscious, and that can be a healthy thing to do because you can work more with your higher self and spirit guides and in various ways that way to help kind of mitigate some of that anxious energy that's all around. But let's bring this back to the idea of that cultural society fear moving into your own backyard. So this can obviously be applicable at any time, but certainly again in the last couple of months. What a lot of people have experienced that I've talked to is almost like a reoccurring pattern of something that you thought you might have finished or buried or fixed or even possibly resolved that resurfaces. Maybe it's in new clothing, but it's an old fear, or maybe it's just again a repeat of something you may have felt you had put down. But just so you know, you're not crazy if you've had something like that go on, even possibly in multiple places. I've had my versions of it as well too. So, within fear is also opportunity, interestingly enough. Astrologically, as we've shifted recently from more of the Capricorn energy into Aquarius, it's got a lot of us reevaluating our goals, our hopes, our dreams, again, relooking at those. That can be exciting, but it can also be, some elements of self-deprecation. Am I not there yet? Have I made mistakes? Am I ever going to get where I really want to be in terms of those goals? So that's a lot of what we see when we see the shift between kind of the Cap and the Aquarius energy astrologically. There's a lot of different ways you can view this toward resolution. Because I've studied a lot of different types of oracles, different philosophies have different points to look at in relating to this type of a thing and also part of its resolution. So I'm going to talk a little bit quickly about the Lakota Indian philosophy. The concept of love itself is expressed in the energy of what is called Yum. Sounds like yum for good reason. It's the goddess of games and chance and play and excitement and enthusiasm, and represents kind of the positive elements of the energy of love. So in Lakota teachings, there is the supernaturals or the negatives as well too, which are the balancers. They represent the shadow side or the difficult side of these energies, and in that case, that would be, I think I got those backwards. Let's try that this way. That would be positive is Yum, and the negative is considered Kisa, the goddess of water. So let's talk a little bit about Kisa, because that is a good analogy for this. That represents, the part of us that we cut from ourselves. So the concept behind Kisa, the goddess of water, is that when turbulence appears in your life and surfaces, it's better to face it than push it back down into the water. And this will happen, from time to time throughout your life, especially if there are kind of long-range unresolved themes that you've not dealt with. So when that happens, it's sort of like your own higher self's way of saying, there's something going on that you have not resolved. So we're going to keep repeating this much to your frustration, whether it's financial or a health issue or a relationship issue or work issue or any type of thing that's causing us strain and anxiety and turbulence. And there's many variants as to how that can play itself out. The key again is not to push the negative back down. It's purposeful. It's bringing something up for you to see and to look at and reevaluate. So the positive mantra for this card is: as turbulence appears in my life, I search for the love present in all circumstances. And from this perspective, I view the way toward positive resolution. So, one thing I would say is, again, know that everything can ultimately be solved. Well, almost everything. I mean, sometimes things are, much more complicated at a higher self level that we might understand. But at a base level, understanding your beliefs create your reality. There's some limitations going on internally, which may show obviously physically when they've been unresolved in whatever way they're playing themselves out. That's the key, to look at it and not push it down. And this idea of finding the love present sounds kind of like new age niceness, and it is in that way, to see where the love is. And trust me, guys, it's always there. It's just sometimes it's hard to ultimately see that. I had a situation surface again without getting a lot of detail, and it felt like I was being bullied again. It brought me back to old emotional childhood body issues and issues with bullies in different forms. And me in my 50s, feel like I'm being bullied again. That part of me wants to strike and was hurt, and and I had to really begin to look at where this was stemming from, both internally inside myself, and also like detaching from what appears to be the ones doing the bullying and understanding where that's coming from, and not taking that so personally. And knowing that everyone has their own reasons and issues behind what they do really went a long way in helping me to kind of see a larger picture of what this is about. And again, recognize there's an opportunity here for me to transform this. So I've been talking a lot about this with clients in their own different versions of it. And again, crisis and opportunity depends on how you're going to view it. The crisis itself can actually lead to opportunity, because it can break up an area that you've got blocked energetically and emotionally and allow you to free that up and play this at a different angle. So you're not crazy if you've gone through this stuff, especially in the last few months or last year or so. Just so you know, and if you're sleeping a lot, it's, you try to work things out. So hope that's a little insight in just maybe changing the way we're viewing what's going on right now. And anyway, so you can reach me through my website at jimventura.com for information about sessions, and obviously subscribe to my about monthly YouTube videos. I'm also on Instagram and Facebook. So again, happy starts to 2021. So weird saying that out loud, but it's real. So all right, guys, we'll talk to you next time. Cheers.